Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Sports Talk in the Burgh. As always, I'm Sam Anthony. Alongside me is Ian Kist and Logan Carney. And we got an exciting show for you tonight because we got everything going. We got NBA, NHL, NFL, Robert Morris Sports. It was a wild weekend, so we're going to get right into it. You're not going to want to miss any of this. So we're going to start off with the NBA. The wait is finally over, ladies and gentlemen. The NBA is back. And after a wild offseason, it appears the Warriors and the Cavs are still the teams to beat. But with a lot of new-look teams, what are you guys looking forward to start the season here?
Oh, baby, man. I'm looking forward to tonight's matchup with the Cavs and the Celtics. I think the Celtics have what it takes to beat the Cavs, especially in the playoffs. I think these two teams definitely got to make the Eastern Conference Finals. I see the Celtics and the Warriors in the NBA Finals. I mean, Kyrie, Gordon Hayward. I mean, that team is stacked. You can argue they don't have a big guy, but the Cavs, I mean, they're still solid. You can argue that their bench is a starting five.
Yeah, and Ian, you're right. I mean, that's great because it's clear that it's going to be the Cavaliers and the Celtics because there's no other teams that are even close to being able to compete. But I don't care about the East. I care about the West Conference because you have some really exciting teams. I mean, Warriors clearly going to be the favorite, but you have Oklahoma City, who I really think can compete with the Rockets and the Spurs.
I mean, clearly the favorite. They have 4 MVP candidates.
I mean, without a doubt. I mean, you look at
the Warriors aren't clearly the favorites. The Warriors are almost guaranteed a playoff spot.
Okay,
no matter how great the West
guaranteed.
is. Oh, I'm guaranteeing it. And that's not even.
What happens if injuries happen? What happens if injuries happen?
Yeah,
what happens if like Curry, Thompson, and Durant all go down with an ACL injury? Like
in a magical scenario.
I'm
in a once in a lifetime scenario.
I'm just saying.
Ian, if you're looking at your crystal ball over there, you see the top 4 of the top players in the NBA all on one team.
I just got to challenge you there for a second, though.
Well, let's hold on. I don't want to talk about some magical injury scenario. I want to talk about the Oklahoma City Thunder. You're talking about Russell Westbrook. You're talking about Carmelo Anthony. You're talking about Paul George. That's some serious talent on that team, and you're saying that they can't even compete.
There's serious talent on the team,
Warriors?
but they're all selfish players. You know, no, Carmelo's always been the guy.
You've never seen Carmelo on a team like this. You've never seen Paul George on a team like this. It's unfair to call them selfish just because they didn't have talent.
But the Warriors are already balanced. The Warriors already know how to play with other talent.
But that doesn't mean that a team can't learn. It's a long season. But
now that the MLB postseason is down to 4 teams, guys, how would you rate October baseball so far? Any big surprises in what you guys think?
Well, I mean, the clear surprise is the Indians falling to the New York Yankees. I don't know if you guys feel the opposite there, but I mean, the Indians were the hot team going in, and they continued hot when they won the first 2 games, and the Yankees, came back and beat them, and that's exciting. But besides that, really, this postseason to me, I don't know about you guys, has gone exactly the way I pictured it going.
Yeah, and it's a bit upsetting because I'm someone who believes personally that the best postseasons in professional sports, in my opinion, are the MLB and the Stanley Cup. Because those are the only 2 postseasons where you can have the lower seeds dominate and beat the top seeds. I mean, the NBA, that never happens. Never happens. The NFL occasionally happens, but that's like once every 5 years. So this postseason, the Yankees beating the Indians. The Indians, they've been the top team this year, but how many times have we actually seen the top team win? I mean, the Cubs did it last year, but how many other times have we seen that happen?
And you're 100% right, but I mean, you can't count out the Yankees right now. It's 2-1. There's a game going on right now. It's 0-0, bottom of the fourth inning here. I mean, Yankees come back, tie this up 2-2, and every year, you know what? The best thing that Major League Baseball ever did was that wild card game because there's always been a wild card team that's been able to compete, and the Yankees are seriously talented. You can't count them out just because they're a wild card team.
And the Dodgers, they ended the season really bad, and the Chicago team who ended the season really good. The 2-0 the Dodgers kind of surprises me there.
Well, after I picked Robert Morris football to finish in the top 2 in the NEC, they were absolutely demolished this past Saturday against Duquesne, their first NEC opponent. Guys, that was their first conference game of the year, but it was against one of the very few relevant teams in that conference. What were your thoughts in the game, and how do you think conference play will look like from here on out?
Sam, should I just let you go first? Because
you know what? I'm sitting in the press box, and I watched Drew Allen take that pick 6 back to the house, and in my head I'm going, all right, Robert Morris is here to play because you get points on the board and you let that defense play their game and you're set. That's Robert Morris's game. Their biggest struggle is the offense. What I didn't realize was that the offense was going to do nothing to help out and they were going to consistently go 3 and out and force that defense onto their heels because that's what happened. It's turnovers, 3 and outs, and Duquesne just kept pounding. And that's why they got dominated.
I like RMU's offense when they send Warren Robinson out to the sidelines, he picks up, the yardage picks up the first downs, and now I saw that fast pace working there for the first drive or so, and then it just stopped.
It was a question,
it just stopped.
Now, the NEC is a very weak conference.
Yes.
Well, maybe
One of the worst.
maybe the worst
Yeah.
conference in college football. And I just wanted to ask you guys this. We watched Duquesne. They're just not another team like Duquesne in this conference.
Yeah.
Do you guys still have hope for this team, or do you think it's just a lost season right now?
So, like you said, the NEC is not great, and the way I went into this is Robert Morris could easily have gone undefeated in conference. They could have easily lost every single game. There's a lot of parity in this conference, and Robert Morris has the talent, but it comes down to that young offensive line. You have to keep Jimmy Walker protected, and if you don't keep your quarterback protected, you will not win games. All right.
Coming up, we introduce you to a new segment where you, our fans, tell us your opinions on topics around the sports world. Stay tuned.
Yeah, what are we calling this?
Hey, can you tell...
Did you know parking over tall, dry grass can spark a wildfire?
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Adventure can be found anywhere, but the best place to start is in the forest.
I spy something beginning with S.
Snow?
No.
Snow-covered trees.
Nothing to do with snow.
Head outside to discover incredible animals and beautiful plants that come together to create an unforgettable adventure.
Wow.
So grab your loved ones
Don't even.
and explore a world of possibilities.
Come on, this way.
Visit discovertheforest.org to find the closest forest or park to you.
Welcome back to Sports Talk in the Burgh, and we're very excited today to open up a brand new segment here on Sports Talk where you, the fans, get to have your opinion heard while Ian, Logan, and I debate alongside you. First up is Pat, who's going to give us his thoughts on who the NBA MVP should be.
My name is Patrick Buchanan. I'm a sophomore at Robert Morris, and my major is actuarial science. All right, so my early NBA MVP candidate prediction would have to be LeBron James. First and foremost, he is the best player in the NBA. No matter what, Steph Curry could be up there, but he is the best. Second, I think he wants a little revenge of what happened the past couple years with Golden State in the finals. I think he wants to come out and prove to himself that he is the best player. Third, I think that with all the problems that Kyrie Irving caused during this offseason, I think he wants to prove that he doesn't need anyone else. Even though he's got a lot of other talent around him, I think he doesn't need another superstar really around him to win a final. Even though he has now Dwayne Wade, he's got a whole bunch of other talent around him. I think he will still stand out and be the star of the team. The other couple reasons why I think he'll be better than other guys, because one, Russell Westbrook, he's got too much talent around him. He now has Paul George, who could be talks for MVP too. He has Melo, who's always been consistently good throughout his career. I don't think Steph Curry can do it again because of all the talent around him with Durant, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green. That's the same with Kevin Durant. he can't do with all the talent around him with the Golden State. They got too many superstars that he won't be able to stand out. Another is James Harden. He's up there. He's one of the best players in the league. But with the addition of Chris Paul, I don't think he'll have the ball as much. He can't produce the stats that the MVP can. And also with Kawhi Leonard, he's also one of the best players in the league. But the San Antonio Spurs are going downhill, which will affect him pretty greatly in the MVP race. So pretty much LeBron James is going to be the MVP, I predict, just because of he's the best player, he has the most skill, and he also is one of the best producers in the playoffs.
All right, guys, so you heard from Luke. He gave his pick. His MVP pick, again, was LeBron James. What are your thoughts?
You want to start with this one, Ian?
Like we all know, I'm a big LeBron guy, but like he said, that frustration I think is finally going to kick in. For the longest time, I always say that he said the best player in the league. I say he's the best player in the world and on this earth. I think he definitely is he has the pieces. He has bad chemistry out with Kyrie. Kyrie's gone. I think that will help. That will thrive in some new pieces. I think he's the man where he had to kind of debate that with Kyrie and go back and forth. But I agree with Pat.
Again, he's also, he's 33 years old.
He looks like he's 23.
It does. But, you can't, with the guys, with the competition in the NBA, to say, hands, you're taking an easy pick here, but, it's not. I don't think I can guarantee that LeBron.
No, I don't think you can guarantee it. And I didn't like some of the logic. You're talking about Kawhi Leonard. So what? San Antonio has a down year. Just because your team has a down year doesn't mean you're not going to put up.
Look at what Russell Westbrook down year last year for his squad, and you could debate that.
Kawhi's my pick.
Yeah, and there's so many dynamic players in this league, and so many new combinations of players. You never know what's actually going to happen with these teams. But now we're going to go to our next MVP pick, and Luke is going to give us his thoughts on who he thinks is going to be the MVP.
I'm Luke Yost. I'm a freshman at Rob Morris University, and I'm a sports comm major. My NBA MVP pick this year is James Harden. He's going to have a great year, and I have Chris Paul on the offense with him, which is going to help a lot because Chris Paul is always top 10 in the assist column every year. In recent years, he hasn't had a solid point guard around him. He's had Patrick Beverley and Gary Payton II, not the best point guards. So when you put an all-star caliber point guard alongside with James Harden on an offense, you're going to get big numbers from him. People are going to say LeBron and Kyrie, and it's not going to happen for either one of those guys. LeBron's going to hurt this year without having Kyrie, and everybody's like, oh, well, Isaiah Thomas is just as good, maybe better. Kyrie was a lot better, the whole game instead of just in the fourth quarter. Kyrie's gonna have a good year in Boston, but he's not gonna have a MVP caliber year without a guy like LeBron James on his team.
So again, you heard it here. This time, Luke made the decision to pick James Harden as his MVP pick. Different than LeBron, but he was a guy who won it last year. So, guys, what are your thoughts?
I'm
sorry, Russell Westbrook.
I'm gonna take James Harden more than LeBron. I do, because LeBron, I think, he's kind of developing into that, share the ball more. James Harden has somebody that, like Luke said, Chris Paul, that's going to give James Harden the ball. James Harden's going to have more shots. James Harden's going to have more opportunities. James Harden's going to have he had a great year last year, he had an amazing year last year. He's going to have a better year this year.
I disagree with that vehemently for the fact that you're right. Chris Paul is great. He can distribute really well, but he's also a scorer. You can't say that, he's not a guy who's going to put points on the board, and that's going to take away from James Harden, who already takes 19 shots a game, which is one of the highest amounts. The only person that took more shots than him in the MVP race was Russell Westbrook. And that was just, he went above and beyond everybody else in terms of shots. I think in terms of creation, he's a guy that struggles defensively.
But who would you say is still the number one target on that team?
The number one target on the team? James Harden. But that doesn't mean anything. That's great.
The game plan is going to be get James
Isaiah
the ball.
Thomas was the number one target on the Celtics. That doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, there's 28 points still.
All right. We're going to go to our final student, who is a former anchor here on Sports Talk in the Burgh, Greg Sutton. And we're going to see what Greg has to say about the NBA MVP.
Hi, I'm Greg Sutton. I'm a sophomore here at Robert Morris University, and I'm studying sports communication. So my choice for NBA MVP this year is going to be Kyrie Irving. Not only because he's an outstanding player overall, but because he's on his own now. He's basically the face of Boston this year. Isaiah Thomas went to Cleveland, where he's going to basically be the new Kyrie of Cleveland there. And Kyrie is kind of on his own, where he wanted to be. That's why he got traded. So instead of being LeBron's sideshow, where he got 25 points a game, which is pretty impressive, he's probably going to get a little bit more than that because he's probably going to be one of the main scoring outlets. And I believe he is the main NBA MVP candidate because Russell Westbrook had an explosive season last year with an insane amount of points and triple-doubles and triple-triples or whatever you want to call them, where I don't think he can duplicate that type of action again. Kevin Durant did amazing last year, but I felt like that was also one of his breakout seasons due to the fact that he was put on to the Golden State Warriors, and they became such a force to be reckoned with, as many people call them, the super team. And then the other people that don't really quite make the cut is LeBron James. I mean, he's always consistent, he always does well, but he always has to have the people beside him and behind him in order to do those things. And this year, I feel, even though he has Dwayne Wade back by his side, I feel like Isaiah Thomas isn't really going to help, matter of fact, because him and Kyrie bonded so fast over such an amount of time. It's going to be hard to, A, make a reconnection with Dwayne Wade, and B, make a solid connection with Isaiah Thomas in order for him to make an MVP run. So my favorite MVP candidate is definitely going to be Kyrie Irving.
And the final pick there, you heard it from Greg Sutton, Kyrie Irving. He said he's going to be the new face of the Boston Celtics. Agree or disagree?
Greg, you're a dear friend of mine. We play pickleball together. But Kyrie Irving is not going to be the MVP.
All right, Stephen A., calm down a little bit. All right, breathe. We all want to be Stephen A. Smith sometimes. But you're right. You're right in terms of I really don't think – I mean, Kyrie could easily and most likely will be the face of the Boston Celtics, but there's a lot of new faces coming along with Gordon Hayward.
Gordon Hayward, you just brought him up. Gordon Hayward played with Brad Stevens. Brad Stevens is going to utilize him as much as possible.
Well,
Gordon Hayward's already succeeded in Brad Stevens' system.
And going on top of that, look at Brad Stevens' system. I mean, as much as Isaiah Thomas was a lot of that focal point for that offense, their offense has never run through one person. They've always had that mentality of, we make up one superstar team.
The only way that I can see Kyrie winning is if he takes, kind of like the Russell Westbrook jump.
Yeah.
Russell Westbrook, 23.5 points with Kevin Durant. Next year, 31 points.
Yeah.
The only way that I can see that happening is if, losing LeBron, he's going to take it up just like Russell Westbrook when they lost KD.
I think Kyrie struggles.
All right, you heard it all here, and that is all that we have for today's fan section here on Sports Talk in the Burgh. But if you would like to have your input on an upcoming show, please email sportstalkdebates@gmail.com, and you can get your clip aired and debate live on the air with Ian, Logan, and I.
Well, don't go anywhere because after the break, we talk Pittsburgh Steelers football. The Penguins start to their season, and more drama surrounding Pittsburgh Steelers.
So, I just moved in with this family, and it's embarrassing. The little one, he likes to go outside and crawl around in the giant litter box. I don't know what he's doing. I mean, I was born, and I knew how to use the litter box. Look at that. That's disgusting. Oh, poop already. You're making me nervous. Oh, okay, I can't look at this anymore. I really hope he grows out of this, for his sake.
You know what, guys? There's a lot of tree branches and dry brush over here. We should probably move the bonfire over there.
I'm guessing Smokey liked that idea.
Well, Thomas, you've got pre-diabetes. But with more exercise and a change in diet, it can be reversed.
I've tried exercising. It just makes me hungry for bacon.
I love bacon, too. And who really likes to exercise?
Not me.
Me neither.
Nobody. So we're good?
What? Oh, you still have pre-diabetes. Big time.
Look at you. You're at the top of your game. You're unstoppable. Nothing can throw you off track. Wait, is that your car? Uh-oh. Yeah, I saw that coming. That will throw you off track. You're looking at around 10 grand in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Let's try this again. Smart move. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
Thanks.
Welcome back to Sports Talk in the Burgh. The Pittsburgh Steelers upset the Kansas City Chiefs Sunday at Arrowhead Stadium, 19-13, and continue their success over the Chiefs. A great bounce-back victory after their not-so-great 30-9 loss to the Jaguars week before. Gentlemen, thoughts on the game? What does this victory mean for the team moving forward? Or are the Steelers for real now?
Well, they were always for real. All right,
correct.
I'm never going to say they were never for real because I would just be quite honest. In terms of top talent, the NFL has been very lacking of that this year. With the Chiefs being the best team, I mean they're still the Chiefs, regardless of what you say. But the thing that really impressed me is that the Steelers defense, which has been great through the air. 21 rushing yards on Kareem Hunt, who had 600 rushing yards coming to that game yesterday.
That stat of
Sunday.
6 yards allowed in the first half.
It was amazing.
That's all. Where's that every week? That is.
They didn't give up
a
first down till 2 minutes left in the first half.
To the best team,
but you know what?
The best offense in the league.
You have to
give Arrowhead.
Yeah. And you have to look though. The Steelers, they did something that they haven't done all season, and I'm glad it finally happened. Is they got Le'Veon Bell the football and they got him moving. And what a great running game does is it slows down the game. It kills clock. It allows you to give your defense rest. And when the Steelers are rested, the offense was moving well. They were able to shut down the Chiefs. And that's what made everything flow so well.
Yeah, I mean, Le'Veon, you couldn't stop him. And when Le'Veon's unstoppable, almost 200 yards, I mean, you're going to win every time. I mean, Ben struggled through the air the week before. What do? Don't put it in his hands that often. Give it to your star running back.
Still 250 yards too. Still not a bad game at all.
All right, we're 2 weeks into a very long hockey season here in Pittsburgh, and the Penguins currently sit in third place in the Metropolitan Division with a 3-2-1 record. Guys, how do you feel about their some people feel it was a lackluster start to the season?
I mean, they lost a lot. And I mean, you can still argue that you have, Murray, Crosby, and Malkin. But Malkin, 1 goal, he's non-existent. But Crosby, like you said, we talked before, and Crosby, Gensel, Rust, all picking it up. But one thing that sticks out to me on their schedule is through the month of November, 6 back-to-back games. A lot of it's coming on, on weekends, on Friday, Saturday, Sundays. But they're used to having the interchangeable goalies of Fleury and Murray, but now you have Murray and Niemi, and Niemi is no Fleury, and you can't, and it's just not going to work. They're going to get tired, and we saw in the Blackhawks game, Murray, the 6th goal was given up.
Hold on, I don't even want to. I want to erase that Blackhawks game from everyone's memory because it's one game, and it was a horrible game. I'm not saying
but it opens my eyes.
10-1.
Yeah, but look at the opponents that the Pens have started out with: Tampa Bay, Chicago, St. Louis. They've been playing high-quality teams, and they've been besides the Chicago game. Once again, we're going to forget about that one here for a second. They've played very well.
I mean, their stars. You mentioned Malkin hasn't been living up to his potential, but Malkin will figure things out during the season. You mentioned that, Ian, and that's a good point. But Crosby, Kessel, they've both been playing phenomenally. Crosby has 3 goals, 5 assists. They've played 6 games so far this year?
Yeah.
He has 8 points.
And it's a long season.
It's unbelievable how they've been playing so far.
Yeah, you keep that pace going, I have no doubt the Penguins will be fine.
Yeah.
A lot of Steelers had good games on Sunday, except for one speedy wide receiver. Martavis Bryant had only 2 catches in the game, and afterwards it was reported that he requested a trade back in Week 5. Now Mr. Bryant has repeatedly denied those rumors. Guys, what are your thoughts on this latest episode of the soap opera that is the 2017 Pittsburgh Steelers?
You don't want to play for the Pittsburgh Steelers? Fine. Leave. I mean, you don't want to play for, an organization that, is working with you. When he could have been, a lot of people think he should have been canned already, not playing in a full season yet, and with his drama and his baggage that he has.
But let's be clear. Martavis Bryant is not going anywhere. There's one, he's one suspension away. He's one drug test failed away from being done in the NFL. And number two, what team's going to want to take him right now? His stats haven't been great this year. He came off being suspended for a year. I wouldn't want him.
I agree with you, Sam, to that point. And, you know, there are people out there that are like, we should accept a trade offer if we get a 3rd round, 6th round pick and a conditional draft pick. You are not going to get that much for a guy that is one joint away from his career being over. You're not going to get that much. If you get a 4th round pick, then you should take it because they're basically giving you, you know, a lifeline. If you can get anything for a guy that is literally right about to be Josh Gordon exiled from the NFL, then you should take it. Will they get that? No, I really don't think so. Maybe there's a team desperate out there to take a chance on Martavis Bryant. But after seeing Josh Gordon, I don't think anybody is. I personally don't think anybody's willing to take that on.
You heard it here. And now it's time for the final takes of the week, where each of us will say what's really been on our minds here in the sports world. And we're going to start with me today, guys. I'm going to get us going here. This past Friday, the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Fifth Circuit vacated Ezekiel Elliott's injunction that had previously allowed him to play despite the running back's 6-game suspension. Today, the courts denied Elliott's filing for another injunction, and now he will begin to serve his suspension. Ezekiel Elliott has quickly changed from one of football's most exciting and popular players to one that many believe has abused his privilege as an NFL player to put the law second behind playing football. Not only that, but the best back in the football in the game last year came to camp overweight and out of shape. Elliott needs to step it up as both a football player and, more importantly, as a person and do the right thing. Take his suspension and spend the next 6 weeks really reflecting and working on yourself, because if you don't, your future is going to be a short one in the NFL.
Martavis Bryant requesting a trade, like I said earlier, is just the latest storyline in the reality show that is the Pittsburgh Steelers. My question is this: is there any leadership on this team? It seems like every week, Ben Roethlisberger and Mike Tomlin will call someone out, or another player will be reportedly unhappy at being in the Steel City, a place that everyone wants to be in, supposedly. Ben, Tomlin, you two are the leaders of the team. You need to start dealing with your team's problems instead of releasing them to the public. A visibly broken locker room is much worse than a quietly broken one. Anybody in the press will tell you that. How many times do you see Tom Brady and Coach Bill Belichick call out every receiver that drops a ball? As a Steeler fan, I am sick and tired of you guys forcing the press to deal with your problems. Just be a better leader and set a better example. This is a football team, not Days of Our Lives.
Violence at sporting events, dealing with fans, something we have seen in the past. But what happened at Bank of America Stadium last Thursday during the Panthers and Eagles Thursday night football contest, dealing with a fan sucker punching a 64-year-old fan in the face, was absolutely sickening. The victim immediately started bleeding from his face and suffered scratches and bruises. If you cannot handle, going to an event where there's alcohol and the fans behind you telling you to sit down because you can't, sit, and you have to punch a 64-year-old man in the face, then a professional stadium is not for you. You should be banned. You were arrested in simple assault. I think it should have been a little more than that. But a professional setting, a sporting event, is not for you.
All right, guys. So that's right about the end of the show. But we got some exciting NBA action starting tonight. You got Celtics, Cavs, Rockets, Warriors. What are you guys most excited for?
Celtics, Cavs.
I was thinking that, but Rockets, Warriors. I want to see how Chris Paul does. I really want to see how that offense is.
Yeah. All right. Well, you guys are going to have to watch the NBA, find out what happens, and we'll be talking about that later. Thank you all for tuning in to tonight's show, and tune in 2 weeks from now for some more sports talk in the Burgh. Thanks so much for tuning in.